Welcome back to WCS Winter Europe Edition. We're moving into our final match for the European side of the broadcast here in Group D. My name is Fear Dragon. I am joined by Nathanius here at the desk. We go into a Protoss versus Protoss to settle things.
You know
Who comes
me.
out with Cyril?
I love my PvP. Nothing better than fighting against other players, Fear Dragon.
You just like
Protoss.
watching Protoss players die, don't you?
No, that's not true at all.
Okay, because I like watching.
Think about it,
Protoss
Fear
players die.
Dragon. You gotta take the political approach when it comes to your whining. If all the Protoss players were gone,
Well, no,
you guys
I like
think
watching
you want
Protoss
them gone.
units die.
You guys think the Terran players out there, you want them gone, but if they were gone, what would you have to complain about? Terran versus Zerg is like perfect. What are you gonna complain about?
I mean, PvT is definitely my favorite matchup. It is so much fun.
Then like the 5
Terrans.
people who still only know how to build tanks when they go mech are like, well, Swarmos are overpowered.
This is going to be a fun match just because this is the decider for our last player who makes it to the round robin here, as this is the final group. These two guys, Rail and Harstem, actually face off against each other in the qualifiers for WCS Winter. The round 8 winners bracket, Harstem fell 0-2 to Rail. We're going to see if it's going to happen again or if Rail is going to be able or going to get knocked down by Harstem this time.
Yep. It's time to see if the man who drew blood from a god can claw his way out here in the decider. In the bottom right of Kairos Junction, we have the red Protoss player. He is Harstem. Chat is a really big fan of his nickname, by the way. They were getting fired up over it. They love to see the flaming lips. In the top left, the blue Protoss player. He's not a gun, he's just a rail.
Yeah, Railgun is a Zerg player.
It's a railgun, yeah.
Railgun. There's actually a couple of rails, I think. There's 1 or 2 others.
Well, if you were a power supply, you might have 2 12-volt rails for stability purposes.
That engineering joke went over my head, actually.
It's okay.
I just need to admit that I have no idea what you're talking about.
Honestly, Fear Dragon, you're so smart. Sometimes I just say random stuff to try and see if it's possible to confuse you.
Well, Jeff will be back for the round robin.
Do you know what
That'll be when
happens?
that happens. We do have normal openings from both sides, double gates. Of course, this is not one of those maps where you can try and do something sneaky like a Nexus first, because your ramp is not at a elevated plane compared to the bottom. So, your natural expansion, a lot easier to attack into.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's one of the reasons why I'm not crazy about this map this season for my own games. I'm a very defensive player myself. Until my battlecruisers are out, of course.
And then you just don't care because battlecruisers fly.
Yes, they do. They fly. The part where they fly is where I stop caring. I can suspend my disbelief.
Well, we got our first
Adepts.
rope scouts making their way
Adepts
forward.
from Rail.
Yep.
And it's Stalker Sentry out of Harstem.
Yeah, is Rail actually going to stick around long enough to spot out what the gateway units are? Because he is still sitting around in that middle line. Now he's starting to retreat back out. I think Rail is the player that sometimes likes to go for the pylon wall.
Yeah, I was going to say that, but I wouldn't have minded.
Oh, Harstem may be thinking about it. There it is. Pylon wall with 2 probes on the
yeah, I was going to
side.
say there's 2 probes outside, so I guess you're denying some mining from the main, right? There's 3 probes technically outside of his base. Do you think he does the 300 IQ recall if he lets the pylon finish?
Well, if you see the double... Okay, I actually thought that if you see both of the Adepts making their way across the map, you can just let the pylon finish, because there's nothing to kill the pylon at that point, and you'd wall out a bunch of these workers, but Harstem maybe wants those extra resources for himself. He's just going to get up his Nexus.
Okay, I can dig it. Stargate from Harstem as his follow-up. Rail is going to proxy his robotics facility, though.
If Harstem goes for the Oracle, then this can get a little bit dicey, but if you go for a bunch of Phoenix, if you start making a bunch of Phoenix, Rotterdam always likes to talk about how good of a unit a Phoenix is as a defensive way to defend against all-ins. It is extremely good, especially if there's a Robo or something. Okay, 4 Adepts gonna cancel their Shade. There were only gonna be 3 Stalkers here. No 4th Stalker on the way just yet for Harstem. No pylon in the low ground, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, Harstem doesn't realize it. We know everything because we are the men. We are the ones with the watch. We are the watchers of the wall here. As we see that robotics facility coming in, we know that there is some variety of attack that will be hitting.
Ooh, this angle that the Oracle's coming in.
Oh, is he gonna spot it? Yeah,
he's gonna accidentally spot this.
Going right over it. This is an amazing scout for Harstem. To be able to know that something like this is going on in your own backyard, well, that is very important for your dragon.
You know, I guess if you have just seen purely adepts, for the most part, now you actually see a bunch of sentries. Not gonna dive in on top of any of those.
Thankfully, their tickle beams weren't set to stun there, so the Oracle's able to get away.
There's a shield battery and a stalker back at home, so this Oracle shouldn't be able to get too much done, and nothing actually at the natural expansion, as that is, at this point, more or less a fake out with only 25 workers.
Yeah. So he's gonna chrono boost out a safety Void Ray here. And you were mentioning it, a lot of sentries, so the Oracle seemed good, but it's over on the other side of the map. There's the force fields on the ramp, but he's not actually in range to shoot anything, so we're just gonna get to work on the natural here.
Yeah, but I mean, look at this. All the shield batteries are on the far south side, which means that the shield batteries are gonna be a bit safer, but that also means that if Rail even pulls back a little bit further up north, it's very difficult for things like the Void Ray and everything to actually fully protect this Nexus.
Sentries versus Void Ray, maybe the most boring fight I've ever seen in StarCraft.
Well, all the shield batteries are out of energy, so those sentries are starting to do some damage to it. Immortal getting focus fire down, but a nice pickup there from Rail. Keeps that Immortal alive, and Harstem really starting to bleed out on units.
Is Rail gonna bop him here? Is he gonna knock him down? Oh,
not too many stalkers.
Void Ray. Oh my goodness, that micro Immortal. Keep it alive.
There are no more actual shield batteries further back up on the high ground. The Immortal
wants to kill
Ardent Shield.
Immortal so bad.
No, these Void Rays are dead, and at that,
Sorry.
Rail with I mean, it goes unscouted for such a long time, and at the point where Harstem finally saw the proxy robo, it's difficult to react at that point, right? Because you didn't have a pile on the low ground, so you didn't have the more forward shield batteries. You kind of have to engage a little bit further into things. He starts with the Void Ray after a second Oracle. That first Oracle and second Oracle didn't really do a whole lot. It's already tough to defend at that point.
If you're building Void Rays in PvP, something is amiss. Something is going wrong for you.
Yeah. And we end up seeing a situation where now Rail is going to be sitting up 1-0 in this decider match. And is one game away from being our second player to move on to that round robin. He could also do another one of these kind of all-ins, like another one of these proxies. There's so many types of cheeky cheeses.
I like it a lot. And my highlight of this group so far for me is watching sentries under Guardian Shield attack Void Rays being healed by shield batteries.
Guardian Shield actually does help out a good bit versus Void Rays.
Very slow fight. Well, Void Rays don't do their bonus damage versus sentries either. Yeah. So the sentries just sitting there like, we're tickling each other until one of us runs out of energy. Basically it.
Until the shield batteries run out of energy. Yeah.
Sentry versus Void Ray, the pillow fight you never expected.
Apparently, the sentries actually do quite well there.
Yeah.
They soften up the. They drain the shield battery energy a lot faster than I thought they would.
They put the action figures inside the pillowcase before. It's a little bit.
What?
You know what I mean?
They put the action figure inside.
Or you could put brick, I guess, but not everyone just has bricks lying around. So.
I know when I'm a mob boss and I need to act someone, I put action figures in my pillow.
You don't conveniently leave bricks around all the bedrooms for that reason? No? Wow.
Well, I know I understand it. Action figures are much easier to come by than bricks.
Yes, assuming you're in a pillow fight scenario.
Oh, pillow fight scenario. Okay, this.
Yes, that's. Yeah, I was the sentries and the Void Rays don't do damage to each other. That's
I was so confused for a little bit. I was like, wait, what? Why is a mob boss using action figures in the pillow? All right.
I think it's a bag with oranges in it. Something about oranges.
Oranges? Oh.
Yeah.
That's a mafia thing. I never actually saw that movie.
Neither have I. I just read the TIL thread, okay, like everybody else.
The Spark Notes?
Not everybody has time, okay, so yeah, Cliff Notes actually.
Cliff Notes.
Back in the East Coast, we use Cliff Notes for your dragon.
What? Did you really? Is that actually like a thing? East Coast use Cliff Notes?
I don't know, dude. You guys have enchiladas. We have calzones.
All right. Starting over here in the top right-hand corner of the map, we have the blue Protoss player currently sitting up 1-0. He is Rail. Jira.
I only found one place that sells calzones in SoCal so far, and it was the worst one I've ever had in my entire life, and I've never since eaten one there. On the left side of the map, the red Protoss player, he is Harstem. That's what gets me about Europe, man. Europeans, they love their kebab and all that, but I'm like,
is that just Germany or is that all of Europe?
That's everywhere I've been in Europe. I don't think I've ever gone out a late night European hangout with, like, especially at these StarCraft events. The only places that are open, if anything is open, it's always like a kebab shop. Although I will say, in the Netherlands, where Harstem is from, they have these things called like snack bars that are like, imagine like a vending machine, but it's just giant like lock boxes with like snacks in them of different varieties.
And you would just,
yeah, and you would just walk up to this like giant wall, like a locker room. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And you just put like your Euro quarter or whatever.
And it'll pop open.
And then it will pop open, and you can just take out your chickling or whatever.
And this is like full meals, not just a
It's
snack.
mostly snacks.
Okay.
It's like, but it's like fried food type stuff. So you could get, I think that they have kebab, but at least you could get other stuff.
Expirable snacks.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like at places that are like kind of open late-ish, so you could go get it in the middle of the night if you wanted to.
I see. That's pretty cool.
Unlike America, where you could go get a calzone, which would be so, oh my goodness, I'd take that over a kebab any day. It's a proxy Stargate.
Yep, proxy Stargate and double Adept opening here from Rail. He's going to chase back one of these pros for Harstem, which has already noticed, it looks like, that there was a missing pylon in the main base of Rail. Second pylon did come down in the main base a little later.
This is going to turn into a really awkward Phoenix versus Phoenix game because the production's going to be both right next to each other. Do you think he moves another probot to proxy the second Stargate so that he can keep on pace? You know what I mean? Like if you were going to
We have seen that before, actually.
Yeah, because you don't want the Phoenix to be separated.
Yeah. We could see something like that. That would be neat. But for now, of course, the probe for Harstem is going to move forward, scout out that Stargate. I imagine with his own Stargate, as soon as he sees that, he'll be going straight up to the Phoenix and be able to shut down that Oracle very quickly.
Yep. And the shield battery wall off is here. The Oracle goes home. Oh my goodness. Well, that Phoenix is going to be out really soon. Yep. Phoenix build is so fast.
Apparently not fast enough.
Gang.
As you're going to be able to actually kill off a decent number of workers here. Decides to keep the Oracle alive.
Why not suicide on the Sentry?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess Phoenix don't do bonus damage to Oracles anymore, but does it matter? No, it doesn't. Goodbye, Oracle.
Oh, it was half a second away from finishing. The Adepts do manage to make their way into the main base, though, and the Sentry going to potentially be a target here if he really decides to go after that. But the shield battery going to discourage him. Phoenix does lift up one of those Adepts, no longer can two-shot the workers, but 6 worker kills is definitely not too bad of a start so far.
Yeah, not bad. That probe is just going to tase the pylon down.
Well, what's nice for Harstem is that he not only got the Stargate opening because he saw the proxy Stargate, but he was able to just continue producing more Phoenix. And now he knows that his opponent is not producing anymore. This is one of those really difficult things a lot of time in Stargate versus Stargate where you don't really know if your opponent stopped producing until you hallucinate a Phoenix or something.
Yep.
Scout. And otherwise, you risk losing your own Phoenix and losing the war. But now he has perfect information, and he's going to maybe be able to move forward and scout out a Dark Shrine.
Yep, that Dark Shrine, of course. We talk about this. Very popular choice versus Stargate builds. And Blink to help run around. It's always terrifying, though. We've seen it several times in PvP in WCS Winter. I'm going to build Stalkers out of this whatever, and then the other guy just goes, builds Immortals, and just kills them. You know? And just like, well, Stalkers are cool and fun and micro, but when it comes time to dance, Stalkers have 2 left feet, Fear Dragon.
Eventually, we're
4 left feet.
4 left feet?
4 left feet, yes. They do have 4 feet, my apologies.
They don't even have 1 right foot?
Any other, I don't even know what the word would be for that. I don't know. Quadro ambient, whatever the...
Quadro ambient?
What is it? What is
like
it?
A
like
frog?
Humans are...
Quadriplegics?
No. Humans are... We bipedal. So
we're bipedal.
Quadpedal. Quadrupedal. Yeah.
Quadrupedal.
Yeah. The monsters. Robots. They're robots, sorry.
Robots.
Well, robotic shells for almost... Yeah. Anyway, Stalker.
There's a Stalker.
They can't dance, and that's the point. But there's an Immortal coming out soon. It's got shield batteries up front.
The first Immortal is only about halfway done, and we're going to start to see the sentries maybe get to get target fire down after the stalkers blink forward aggressively. He feels like he can take this on, and he is going to be right about this.
This is what happens when your Immortal is 20 seconds late.
Yep.
And unfortunately, takes a lot of damage there. And Harstem still significantly ahead on workers. He can afford to lose a few more probes here, as long as he doesn't die. But Rail is doing what we have come to know Rail for. Wow, he dives straight on top of the Immortal, and he does pick it up. But he was already building a proxy up front outside of his opponent's base. However, the Stalkers are slowly being routed back here. And he's going to continue to get his reinforcements going as that gateway continues to finish. And I'm not entirely sure. He should be able to stabilize here and push him back.
Yeah, he's been losing a lot of his Immortals, though, so it's been difficult for him to keep getting up the really, really big firepower you usually need to push back the Blink Stalkers. And Rail has found an opportunity multiple times to get enough Stalkers up that he's out DPSing the shield batteries. Now the shield batteries don't have any energy. There's a third shield battery finishing up behind all of this. We'll see if Rail feels comfortable with this. He's going to dive in.
There's the pickup. Ooh, wow, that force field was so clutch, denying the Blink follow-up. He's going to dive on top of it again, but was that little bit of time bought enough? The other Immortal is out, and it's coming.
Okay, the Stalker's going to try and go after some of these Zealots gradually. He blinks forward, but there's that other Immortal you were talking about.
Baby.
Rail keeping most of the rest of the Stalkers alive. And remember that Rail does still have about an even economy with his opponent. He's still producing 2 workers at a time, too.
It's not stopping with the aggression either. Really looking to railroad Harstem's natural here. Bulldoze straight through it. No brakes on this train.
One Stalker goes down. These Phoenix preventing them from running back, but they are very low on energy.
Okay.
I think another
Blink shenanigans got to be over, right? Fear Dragon's got 2 Immortals now. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like 2 Immortals is the number where you're like...
He's pretty committed at this point. He's going to add on another pylon. He adds on another gateway, but there's no tech behind this for Rail. All he's got is a Twilight Council. It doesn't have a Robo. It doesn't have a transition point. It doesn't have charge research or anything.
I'm not feeling too good about this once that next Immortal comes out. 3 Immortals gets us close to one-shot territory.
How would you feel about him just blinking into the main base and trying to snipe off the Robo, doing something else besides just pushing into the front?
Yeah, I mean attacking into multiple shield batteries defended by Phoenix, Immortal, Stalker, Zealot. It seems like a dodgy play to go for.
Twilight Council being added on there for Harstem. I guess Rail is gonna just push at the front again.
The Adepts into everything and then just blink the Stalkers on the Immortal?
Well, it does force the Immortals to target fire down on the Stalkers if they want to get the damage done, because otherwise they'll go after the Adepts as the closest target.
Well, let's just say that this railroad track has a penny on it, and we're about to see the train flip. As the force fields come out, pushing everything away. Actually, really awkward force fields. I feel like if you're Harstem, you kind of wanted Rail to dive on you, but maybe he's not feeling that.
Yeah, Harstem's kind of losing a lot of his Zealots thanks to those force fields, so that did not go quite as how he wanted to. But I still think that the Immortals with a 4th Immortal popping out.
4 Immortals, so he can right-click and insta-give Stalkers if he tries to attack here.
Yeah, Rail has to back up, but he doesn't have a backup plan.
Nope.
There's already still 2 more shield batteries that have a lot of energy left over.
He's tried to run this one through its last course, but once he's reached the caboose, there's nowhere else to go, Fear Dragon.
This is not going so hot for Rail, and there's still no signs of him transitioning. Harstem is getting up charge. He's getting up more shield batteries because he realizes how all-in Rail is.
Yeah, picks off that shield battery, okay. But there's just so much. 4 Immortals, 5 Immortals now. He's going to more than one-shot Stalkers. It's beautiful.
I'm actually amazed that Rail has not just gone for the Desperation Dark Shrine at this point, and even just getting up an Archon or 2 to soak up hits, but here we go. Now it's just Immortals mostly versus Stalkers, and I'll tell you what, Rail is not Alpha Star.
No.
It's actually very difficult to make work there. GG.
Yeah. GG. Harstem ties the series up. He says, I'm not going down without a fight. What you talking about?
Tying up the series is a nice place to be as he defends against Rail's 2nd game shenanigans. Struggled a little bit versus the first, but that was mostly based off of him not scouting and everything. Game number 2, he held on long enough, and of course, while the end looks really one-sided, the beginning part was pretty scary when suddenly the army blinks onto you and you don't have any of your Immortals out yet.
Yeah, That first attack from Harstem is, to Harstem is where I thought that things could really fall apart.
Yeah.
That Immortal needed to be out a little bit faster, it felt like. I mean, obviously there's only so much that you can do, right? You got Proxy Stargate, you're getting out Phoenix. But Rail really heavily committed to these types of attacks. We haven't seen these types of attacks be very successful today. If the defending player gets out, once they hit 2 Immortals, I feel like everything just completely falls apart. And then past that, it's like, yeah. Is there a world where a Blink Stalkcrawling kills a guy that's got 5 Immortals and 5 shield batteries? No.
It's only Alpha Star. Alpha Star is the only one that can do that right now.
Well, you can't blink away when your unit goes from full health to dead without any interval in between, you know? It's tough.
Well, at this point, we now get ready to move into game number 3, Decider match. One last game for the European side of the broadcast to determine who's the last player we see.
Fear Dragon, it's the final map of Europe Ro16.
And we just have Americas. 5 more series after this.
I'm so emotional. No, I'm not. Cyril got out of the group. My world has been returned back to reality. The rest of Cyril's games looked really good. He went...
I mean, for Cyril to have not made it out of the group, he would have had to have not lost 1 series, but 2 different series to 2 different players.
You know what? There's a reality where someone that good takes his first map loss, and then he starts to...
He just mentally crumbles in on himself.
He's just like, I thought I was unstoppable. You know, it's like that clip.
Anything could happen now.
Disappointed.
All right, looks like our next map is Cyber Forest for game number 3. Let's figure out who is the next player to move on, the final player to move on to that round robin, round of 8.
Who's going to make it on out? It's time to decide. We are loaded in to Cyber Forest. You are watching the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series. In the top left position, our Red Protoss player hailing from the Netherlands. He is Harstem.
And down in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, we have the blue Protoss player from Team Jera. He is Rail. This is one of the maps where you could try and go for any kind of cheeky super
one-gate expand.
One-gate expands. Yeah. I'd still be surprised to see it, though. Rail has been proxying so much.
It happened once, and that's it. The guy who did it's eliminated. You're never going to see it again.
Yeah. Disappointed.
Yep. So we're just going to standard time, waiting for that cyber course, see what kind of tech path they want to go for. What's your favorite type of pasta for your dragon?
Pasta with marinara sauce.
That's
plain old pasta.
That's not, no.
Oh, you mean not like
are you a rigatoni guy?
I am an angel hair pasta guy because it takes 2.5 minutes to cook after boiling. And I am impatient.
Such a non-answer. The correct answer is actually penny. That's the correct answer.
Why? Because it sounds like money?
Well, it sounds like the worst kind of money.
Have pennies stopped being produced yet?
I was going to say, this is the European show. I'm pretty sure the Euro penny is like gone. They phased it out.
Yeah.
They're like, it actually is like costs more to make pennies than they're
actually worth. Yeah, a penny, even not just the cost of making it.
I think Canada,
the actual penny
got
itself,
rid of pennies too.
The penny actually in the United States, the penny itself, because it used to be made out of copper. I think it's not actually fully copper anymore, because it was worth more. The copper was worth more than an actual penny.
Yep. In Canada, I know they got rid of it. If you try to pay for something with a penny or like a dime, I think the police come. They don't arrest you. They just give you a quarter instead and confiscate your penny.
Well,
no one's supposed to have them.
Canada also has plastic money, so you know.
That is true.
It's a strange place. First probe getting picked off, but it scouts out the double adept here from Rail. Stargate follow-up with a Nexus as well, coming down right after that probe got pushed back. Harstem, on the other hand, just getting up additional sentries and going for that 3-sentry opening we've been seeing. 3-sentry opening maybe does struggle a bit more versus the adepts unless you get some really good force fields off.
You have to block with the probe if you're going to do 3-sentry. If you don't, the 2 adepts, I think they easily kill both sentries. And then the third one, you got to cancel it in that situation, or it will probably die as well. Maybe a cheeky force field keeps it alive, but...
Yeah, you really just have to be on point about it. All right, shield battery is still going up. He finally cancels that, knowing that the shade is going to be on cooldown for a bit now. Hallucinated Phoenix moves forward. Doesn't... Okay, I was going to say, doesn't scout out the Stargate at first, but does eventually see it and sees a quick robo behind it. So Rail not going to be committing too heavily to Stargate production for now. At least it appears that way.
Who hurt Rail? Okay, we
Penny.
got a timeout here from Harstem. He's trying to ice Rail with the lag.
I mean, you never want to have a Rail iced, because then the train will just skid, right?
That's true, yes.
Although that's also how...
That puts a lot of people's lives in danger.
But that's how you get a train to drift, right?
No, you need a second track next to it.
Second track?
For that to work. He said mech? Harstem said lag, I got 300 ping, and then Rail replied mech.
I guess...
He's telling Harstem that if he has lag, he should just play mech because it's mechanically easier to do. And he has found a way to make this PvP another Terran whining thread. If you believe it, God.
If you think about it, saying go mech in Protoss versus Protoss is effectively like saying go Blink Stalker Disruptor.
If Roddy was here, he would go mech, and he would probably win after being challenged
Phoenix are mech.
Yeah.
Roddy likes making some DTs too.
And they tried to unpause it, but Harstem's like, I got 600 ping now.
the ping actually doubled by the pause.
Yes. This is awkward.
This is great too, because now Harstem only has one pause remaining.
Oh my god. Then he has to
and actually, guys, it's in the rule book that if he unpauses again, he is no longer allowed to pause. He just has to play it. No, it's not actually. Okay. Wouldn't that be great though?
That's terrifying.
Wouldn't that be fantastic?
We're the official stream. You can't lie about the rules, Fear Dragon.
You know what I've always thought was interesting, though, is you have sports where you have, you know, in basketball and a lot of the other games, you have timeouts, right?
Yeah.
Where you can pause the game and try and break the momentum.
It's not a pause like this, but...
No. And of course, you can't just be like, someone's about to make a shot. It's like, I want a timeout. I want a timeout right before they make the shot, right? You have to wait for the right moment and everything.
Well, no, people have done that, actually.
Timeout. Well,
you've never seen someone conveniently have a problem right before the.
That's fair. Oh,
don't remember.
Oh, you mean not in basketball, in StarCraft?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's happened in StarCraft.
Well, Harstem's lagging out now.
You ever heard of Naniwa? Yeah, Harstem's connection.
He was the guy with really good probe control, right?
Amazing probe control.
Yeah. Almost beat ST with that probe control.
Yeah. I don't even know if it's like
guys,
one of those banned things.
I think that we are still in a situation where Harstem is nearly lagging out.
Says he has 2,000 ping now.
It's just going up every single time.
What's the conversion rate of ping to pennies then?
Ping to pennies. Well, theoretically, it's like golf, right? Where the lower value does score more.
That's true.
Have you played golf before?
Not real golf. More like freaky.
Mario Golf.
I've been to the Leahy Family Fun Center, okay, in Lackawanna County. I have completed the entire mini golf course multiple times between the ages of 7 and 12.
Mini golf. Okay.
And I know that the higher score is worse, okay? I learned that.
You know, I used to be so bad at mini golf when I was growing up that my parents for a little while used to tell me that the higher score was better. They wouldn't tell me how the score was generated either.
I had 2 brothers, so we never got to cheat on anything. It was all pain. Playing games like that becomes very technical about the rules. You know, if someone's winning at the game, the other person, the loser, usually unplugs it so that doesn't get recorded in the match history, even though you know you lost.
The good old disconnect days of Brood War.
Oh my god, this conversation's amazing. Okay, well, they're just trying to figure stuff out right now. We do want to let you guys know, of course, that WCS Americas will be coming up after this match. We're doing Group D for them. We got 2 Terrans, a Protoss, and a Zerg. So something for everyone to complain about. And that, to me, is really the spirit of high-level competitive StarCraft. As we are going to have to remake this game. I guess Harstem said he's going to reset his router. So, yeah. If you really think about it, we're just making this final match take longer And
to make up for
we get to
all
spend more time with our
things.
European viewers. Because you
That's
know,
true.
when we switch from Europe to Americas, every single European viewer leaves, and it just completely fills up with American viewers.
We drop like
That's how it
500.
works.
We drop like 500 viewers, then keep the rest of them.
That's how it works. No. Every
Nah,
viewer
yeah.
turns into American.
Ah. Okay.
Like if some guy's watching and he's got his kebab or whatever, as soon as I say Americas, he drops the kebab, a burger appears in his hand, he's got a trucker cap. That's what I'm saying. You know.
I like that. That's your equivalent for a kebab is the burger. That's the American equivalent of
Kebab's the only snack food I'm really aware of in Europe, as someone who's tried to get snacks out in Europe multiple times.
Well, it sounds like our conversation has devolved so much that our production team is asking us, forcing us to go to a break. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll hopefully be back with game number 3 soon of Harstem versus Rail. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are excited for game number 3 of Harstem versus Rail to resume, because so are we, but it's not happening yet. So let's talk about the War Chest. Of course, if you guys aren't familiar with the War Chest, it's an awesome, awesome package that you guys can get in-game that provides you with a bunch of cool skins. And in fact, we have one of these skins available right here. The Nexus is available, and of course, this is one of the skins that you unlock immediately as soon as you purchase that War Chest for the Protoss side of things. Makes your Nexus look cool. Makes you win an imaginarily larger number of games. Nate, your thoughts?
If it makes you feel better, it's going to make you play better, which means, yes, it does increase your chances of winning. That is a technically correct thing for me to say.
if you could have a Nexus skin for a following war chest or something, look like anything you wanted, what would you want it to look like?
Pie. I want all Protoss buildings to be different pastries. I want my Nexus to be a big chocolate peanut butter pie. I want my gateway. The gateway, I mean, the gateway makes stuff, right? So the gateway could be like a sizzling pan of jam, right? And then you just kind of plop out of it.
No, the Robo would actually make her a really good pan because it's got that round circular thing and it's got that flat surface. So you actually just have.
Don't ruin this for me.
No?
Baby.
Okay.
The Robo will be a different, larger.
It will be an even larger pan.
I'm talking about. And then the pylons can be like sections of crust so that you can kind of place it around everything. You know what I mean?
Crust? Wait.
Yeah, use your pie. Pie is crust.
I see.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not one building that's going to be this pie.
No, it's
all
themed.
of the buildings construct the pie.
I mean, if it's like a
and then once you've constructed the pie, you unlock the Megatron Thor, right? That's from the Wings of Liberty.
No. Your opponent sends their worker scout in. They see a bunch of food and they're like, God, I'm really hungry, and they leave, and then you win.
Wouldn't that happen if you're watching the pie constantly, though? That would happen to you more often than not.
You just become prepared. Bring a pie with you when you play StarCraft.
You eat a pie while you're playing.
Have you seen me? Do you not eat when you play StarCraft, Fear Dragon?
What do you usually eat when you play StarCraft? You eat pie?
My fingernails, because I'm so nervous playing against Protoss. Okay, that's the reality.
Well, there's your problem. You're playing with one hand.
For you there. Yeah, that might be it. Yeah. We are just waiting for, I think Harstem is still offline.
What's your favorite Team Liquid comment, Nate?
Favorite Team Liquid comment?
Please don't answer that.
Once upon a time, when Athanius was a small streamer with 5 viewers, I only had one request for people that came in 2011. I said, if you can, I have a Team Liquid thread under streams. If you could just post like a good comment or something, your thoughts, so that people check out my stream. This is 8 years ago. And a group of people, like old people on Team Liquid, were like, at some point, I started to get more viewers naturally. That's how this whole thing happens, why I'm here. And there was like a gang of people that came after me. They said that I made 50 fake Team Liquid accounts to post about my own stream. It was the most insane thing I've ever heard of. They're like, who are these people? They're not even real. And then like guy in my chat's like, I'm not real? Like, I don't know. Yeah. That's my favorite Team Liquid comment, though.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You know, it actually also occurs to me that there are probably some people who are getting into StarCraft. They don't know about Team Liquid. They don't know where all the communities and stuff are. So, teamliquid.net, for those who don't know, is a really awesome forum site that's been around since.
I'm gonna err on the side of Reddit.
Reddit.
I think Reddit StarCraft has much better moderation, personally. But there's a bunch of great communities everywhere. There's a bunch
Personally, I prefer the YouTube comment section.
And I love the StarCraft channel Twitch chat. You guys are the best. You guys
are the best. Of course,
all I do is sit and chat the whole time.
That actually, I can confirm this.
I know you guys really want us to break down the half a minute of the game that happened before we resume it, but I got nothing for you, so we're riffing.
Well, you said there was this moment where the probe was scouting in there for Harstem, and he juked around the cliff edge, but it still died, so it didn't make any difference whatsoever.
Yeah.
So that was a fascinating moment. Do you have any thoughts on that, Nate?
Sentries were built, too. Did you know sentries cost 50 minerals and 100 gas?
You know, I think I just learned that recently.
Yeah.
In fact, somehow I made it through 9 years of playing Protoss. Just learned that. Actually, you know, this is a fun fact. The StarCraft, everyone always thinks about the 20th anniversary of StarCraft and stuff when Brood War or the original StarCraft 1 came out. People think about how long StarCraft 2 has been out. The beta for StarCraft actually came out, I think, around sometime in March or April.
Yes.
So to me, even though StarCraft 2 launched over in like August or September or something, I always actually think of the StarCraft 2 start as being in the beta, when the beta came out. Yeah. That's when I got into StarCraft 2.
It was like end of February in 2010.
It's coming up, though. It's coming up in a month or two.
Yeah, we're pretty much close to that period.
9 years.
And the thing is, it was also cemented by the fact that there were big beta tournaments as well before the game even launched.
HDH Invitational, King of the Beta tournament. That was a good time.
TLO discovering concussive shell and people being like, what do we do? Oh!
Do you remember when Protoss players didn't think to build more than 2 sentries? They were like, wait, hold on. if we make multiple sentries, we can throw down more than one force field.
Sentries they had 2 more damage by default back then as well. Also, Marauders, you didn't have to research concussive shell. They came with it, baked in.
Wait, what?
Yes.
I don't remember this.
In the original beta, yeah. Marauders had concussive shell.
That is amazing. That is.
Reactors took 25 seconds to build.
Siege tanks had to research siege mode.
But
that was a change that
one didn't
lasted
get
a long time ago.
That one got changed in Heart of the Swarm. But the weird beta stuff, we never got to see the Planet Cracker. That was removed before. The Planet Cracker was only ever in test builds. It was never in a playable version of the beta.
Everyone always talks about the Planet Cracker. You know what my favorite announced but never implemented skill that came out in StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty?
The photon cannon repositioning?
No, well, that was pretty beautiful. But no, the mothership had a different ability. It was like a time warp, but the bullets would slow down as they approached. And the idea was all the bullets would just start congregating, and then after the time warp expired, the bullets would just drop to the ground like in Matrix.
Yeah.
I always thought that was the coolest thing ever.
That was a really cool ability. How about the original Tempest that was just a blue carrier? That's right. That was also in the beta.
Yeah, and it was it was called the Tempest. I do remember that.
It was just a blue carrier is what it looked like.
Wow, what's that, guys? Oh, we're still not talking about anything useful right now. Guys, it looks like production wants us to go to a break again because we're still waiting on this game. We're of course waiting on Harstem for his router to get restarted and all that stuff. So guys, please go link up your war chest during the break. You got a little bit more time. You got to earn that experience.
Send us some tweets. Talk to me. I'm lonely over here.
Exactly.
It's dark and it's cold.
We're also waiting for the game. So we'll see you guys in a little bit with more StarCraft action as we close out the European Group D. The wait is over, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving back into Rail versus Harstem. Game number 3. Let's get the series underway.
Let's get this.
It started. It's begun. We're back at the 3-minute 45-second mark where everything has happened. By everything has happened, I mean
it's everything you've waited for.
This is just a reminder. It was a double Adept opening from Rail with a Stargate that did get scouted out. Robo behind it. And Harstem opened up with Stalker Sentry. Or actually, no, yeah, Stalker Sentry, and then followed up with 2 more Sentries. Was adding on some Stalkers, but got up a Trial Council and starting a Blink. That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
That's everything that's happened so far.
We're backing up the fun bus here, okay? Taking a cursory look over everything. We're crossing the T's, dotting the I's, crunching the numbers. Can actually feel In Control's presence warging into me right now so that I'm capable of commentating this PvP. Because otherwise I would be emotionally overwhelmed.
Ooh, this is a nice pickoff. Getting 1, 2 Sentries over here. Is he going to go for the third? He does. Going to sack one of the Phoenix to try and kill that Sentry off.
Super worth.
Yeah. Remember
one
that
Phoenix
was
for 3 Sentries.
And that was all of the scouting information for Harstem. That was the only way he had to scout.
He's blind. He's basically had his eyes gouged out as far as PvP goes.
That sounds painful.
Yeah. I mean, he can't scout. He can't see anything. It's going to be tough.
Well, gonna have to wait for this Sentry. They just freshly warped in to get enough energy to see the follow-up. Because remember that Harstem saw a Stargate and he did see a Robo. That is a pretty telling thing from earlier on. But you want to know, is your opponent still making some more Phoenix? Did they just stop at 3? Are they getting up a bunch of Immortals? Is there a Warp Prism popping out?
There's that panic mode, right? Where if the Phoenix count starts to like escalate and you're like, deep breathing. But he just sees the same 2 Phoenix that have always been here. Comes, he's gonna grab Probe, he's gonna peace out.
Yep. Stalker's not doing that much damage to the Phoenix. And good opening so far for Rail. Third base does come up pretty quickly here for Harstem, though, as he also adds on his Robo, adds on a Templar Archives, and with Blink finishing up, that is maybe going to be the opportunity he needs to try and get a bit aggressive himself, just poke forward.
Yep. So Blink is finishing, as you pointed out, and Resonating Glaives starts up for Rail. Now, we have seen him, we've seen this a little bit today. It got canceled the one time that someone seemed like they were going to actually commit with it. Don't know that we'll see it really utilized.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it once or twice try to be utilized before Blink or anything else as just the first upgrade they went for. And in that, the one game that we actually saw it utilized well, I feel like, was after Blink had been researched. So this is one of those things that has a strong mid-game army composition, but as the game goes on, it does start to see a bit of a fall off.
I mean, I might be crazy. I might sound crazy for saying this, but I feel like Resonating Glaives in PvP is like purely an all-in device.
Yes.
Like you can't really go along with it. And you need charge.
The funny thing is, like, I think that if I recall correctly, the way that the meta kind of transitioned in PvP was, it was originally just Blink Stalker Disruptor. And then people realized if you hit with enough Resonating Glaives at the right time, Stalkers actually would oftentimes lose versus the Resonating Glaive Adepts. But if you got up to Disruptors or survive long enough, you'd actually win. But then we also had Charge-Let Archon come out, and the Archons and the Zealots with Charge would actually just win versus the Resonating Glaive Adepts. So it ended up actually starting to get faded out of the meta, if I recall correctly. We're already seeing 2 Archons morphed in here for Harstem.
Yeah, and you know that those Archons, they're pretty good against Adepts, clumped biological units. Now, the Archons are focusing down the Immortal. Interesting play, almost gets it. Good pickup there by Rail, continues to push forward here. Resonating Glaives is done, but Charge is ready as well. And so the Adepts, they can do a little bit of extra damage against those Zealots. And this is where you try to bowl them over before there's too many Zealots. And now the probes are coming off. This is where that Resonating Glaives build really shines. Rail's Adepts are absolutely obliterating the workers of Harstem. The army continues to push him back, but the Immortals stand strong. 3 of them there, and one of them is going to come down the ramp for Harstem. It's going to be focus fired. And it's actually going to be able to get quite a bit of damage done. So not bad control out of Harstem.
Harstem doing a decent job, but a lot of those those shots from the Immortal were going off on the Adepts instead of the actual Immortals of Rail. And now, Rail just has way more warp gates right now. I guess actually Harstem just finished up his gateways, so he is getting bigger warpins, but
GG! Rail makes it out of this group, and is that finally the upset that Nathanius was looking for, Fear Dragon?
The 2-1 for Rail to advance on out? I don't know. Because I don't know what your prediction was.
Well, I thought Harstem was going to get out. But you follow some of the other tournament matches a lot more than I do.
I think the thing is, like, everyone, and Harstem is a fantastic player. He played some great games today, but it is one of those things where I think Rail is on the up and up, and he is one of those players that gradually people are starting to say, like, oh, actually, he's doing quite well for himself. Yep. Zombie Grub was talking about how Rail has actually hit so many round of 16s in Challenger, or like, you know, also even some of the Premier events and stuff. And he just isn't getting the respect that a lot of people would think his results have deserved. So once again, advancing on.
Okay, I'm really interested to see how well he performs as we continue through when we get to the round of 8, the round robin. We'll see how good Rail is. Congratulations to him for escaping Group D for death, because you're trapped in here with Cyril.
Indeed. Congratulations to Cyril and, of course, Rail, as they are our last 2 players to close out the round of 16 for Europe. And now that we know those 2 players, we do have a full lineup that we'll go over after the Americas broadcast, I believe.
Seems good.
Just recapping which players made it to the round robin. And of course, I know that I've seen some people who are asking, when exactly are like the next stage of groups and stuff, or group stage 2 going to be decided, and when all that stuff going to be announced? Guess what, guys? With the round robin, everyone plays everyone, so you're not waiting on any kind of announcement. Yeah, when we recap who's going to be in the round robin, you're going to know everything that you need to know.
That's right.
But, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, Americas is going to be next. We got, like you said, Nate, 2 Terran players, a Protoss and a Zerg.
Americas.
It's going to be a great day. I'm really looking forward to this. But we'll see you guys in Americas in about 10 minutes' time. Don't go anywhere. You're watching WCS Winter.